3-3 New York Jets make history. Make history, I said. Can you believe it? The Jets welcome in the Kelly green jersey wearing Philadelphia Eagles, the unbeaten 5-0 Philadelphia Eagles in Jet Life Stadium in front of a raucous, pumped up Jets fandom. And I could not be happier. We had an amazing live stream right here on GreenBean's Jetsfan. Guys, welcome to episode 135 of GreenBean's Jets Pod. And we should be in positive spirits this Monday morning. I know you are. There's no way. I mean, look, we'll talk about a couple negatives, right? We will. We'll talk about it. But man, oh man, if that's where our focus is this week, then we got to go to a psychiatrist, man. You got to at least go to see a therapist. Because this is what it's all about. I mean, this season was supposed to be swirling down the toilet right about now. But the New York Jets are scratching and clawing and kicking and fighting to a 500 record. By the way, beating two bona fide Super Bowl contending teams in this first chunk of the season, heading into the bye. Let me just tell you, man, going into the bye week on a loss, especially the way our offense was unable to really capitalize on so many gifts, would have been terrible. It would have been terrible. I would have been so disheartened, so disappointed, so disenchanted, discontented. But we don't have to do that. Just like last year, we headed into the bye off a big week against our division rival Buffalo Bills. Well, we beat them before the bye again this season. Just happened to be week one. And now we beat the 5-0 Philadelphia Eagles for the first time ever. By the way, Jets fans, this has never happened. Now, like I said last week, I've been a Jets fan for 41 straight seasons. I have never seen the Jets beat the Eagles. What is that? Now, granted, we've seen it in preseason, right? The preseason, we seem to play them every year for the last 20 years or whatever it might be. And we beat them there sometimes, but that doesn't count. It doesn't matter. It's preseason. So this is the first time. If you're new to Jets fandom and you're like, what's the big deal? It's an NFC team. What do we care? It's a big deal. We've never done this. And as you saw by the amount of Eagle fans in the house, it's a close rival. You know, we're not in the same division. We're not in the same conference, but they're just 2.5 hours down the road. So you saw them. They came in droves. And let me just tell you, while we have so many sweet things to talk about, I might come across as a little bit abrasive and harsh right now. One of the best things of the entire broadcast for me was when they showed that Philly fan kid, what was he, 12 years old, with tears streaming down his face. I love it. I have to admit. Drive all the way up here and cry. Good for you. It builds character, kid. You deserve it. You want to know what it is? Obviously, I don't want to see any kid unhappy. Just like I don't want to see any NFL player in their personal lives have pain. You know, I don't want to see any loss, failure. I don't want to see any of that. But on the football field, in the football realm, you know how many times I've driven to the Meadowlands and cried as a young kid, as a teenager? And don't tell anybody, but as a young man with facial hair, tears in my eyes, why? I've done that. So good. About time it's not our kids. You know what I mean? Every week there's kids wearing Jets garb crying in that damn stadium. It's about time somebody else's fans, and you know why they come. You know why they come. You know why Raider Nation packs our stadium. You know why the Bills fan drive all the way down from Buffalo. You know why Miami has MetLife take over. All their fair weather Miami Dolphins fans get on planes and fly up, or they drive the 21 hours up here. You know why they do it, right? They do it because they think it's a lock. This is the game to go to have a great weekend, to have a big party. And that's why they're there in the first place. Not today. I love sending them packing. I hate when they're in our house partying. I hate it. There are few things I hate more in the NFL world, man, than being in that stadium and watching the other team's fans elatedly party in our house. I'm telling you, man, there's something about it. It rubs me hard. So good. Kid, take your tears and drive home with your parents. I love it. So the Jets beat the Philadelphia Eagles, like we said. We'll talk all about it. We have some statistics to talk about. We have some game planning, clock management things to discuss. We have some players of the game we'll get into. Before I do, I want to remind you about the importance of the celebratory milk thumb. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button for little old Green Bean and help the channel to grow. Don't forget, we have to earn our good graces with YouTube again. So hitting the like button, commenting under the video, things like that help immensely with YouTube going, oh, maybe this guy's not so bad. Which I'm not bad anyway. I don't know why they thought I was. But it helps, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, what time like right now? The Jets just beat the Eagles for the first time heading into the bye. We get a big W. Green Bean gets out of YouTube jail. Right? This is the time. If you've been waiting, now's the time to do it, everybody. So I'm grateful when you do. I appreciate so much all of the support. I want to remind you about this week's sponsors for the show. We have the one and only Liquid IV. I just gave this bag away in our live stream for the game. We live stream the games and watch parties, live reaction every single week. I gave this away, so this one will be gone. A full bag of Liquid IV hydration multiplier. This is actually the energy multiplier. This is their energy drink version. The best damn hydration multiplying drinks on the market today. You can save 15% by using the promo code GreenBeanJetsFan. Save yourself 15% if you're going hiking, if you're going to the gym, whatever it is that you do. My daughter does horseback riding all the time. She brings that with her. She puts it in her drink. Make sure she's hydrated. Save 15%. And don't forget about the ever important Testosil, the testosterone booster that is all natural. Get yourself $10 off your first bottle and an additional free bottle when you use the promo code GreenBean. So Green Bean Jets fan for Liquid IV, Green Bean for Testosil. Guys start losing their testosterone as early as their mid-20s. If you're going to the gym, you need that extra boost, you're feeling depressed, you're feeling sluggish, you're feeling down, a testosterone booster might be exactly what you're looking for. There's no brand like Testosil. It's taking the market by storm. Get yourself a free bottle. If you buy 2 bottles, you get 2 free bottles. Amazing deal. Use the promo code GreenBean. Both links are in the description of this very video. And you can save yourself some cash. And thank you for all of your support to both Liquid IV and Testosil. Guys, we're going to get right into it. The final score. New York Jets 20, the Philadelphia Eagles 14, which is amazing because the Jets offense once again could not find their way into the end zone. We had 4 red zone visits, 4 field goals. Now, we did end up getting into the end zone at the end on a Bryce Hall touchdown, but not the best thing to do at that particular moment in the game if you're playing football chess, right? Now, we'll put that aside for a second because we won. So we're not going to, beat it down. Let's talk about how we got there in the first place. Number one, I want to point something out. While I will acknowledge that Zach Wilson is playing better, okay? I'm going to tell you that. He's playing better football. He's not losing games for us quite like he did in the past. He's kind of on this upward trajectory. He had some trouble today. All right, he had some trouble. He had some missed passes. But the right side of the offensive line, we lost Joe Tippmann, which is so far, dude, every victory we've had to have some sort of blood sacrifice. We lost Aaron Rodgers week 1 to an Achilles to beat the Bills. Then we lose. Then we win our next game against Denver. It's the next game we ended up winning. We lose AVT, yet another Achilles. Both of those guys out for the season. Now, today we lose Tippmann. They're calling it a thigh, which is positive in my book. We don't know what it's going to look like, but a thigh is not a knee, and it's certainly not a friggin' Achilles. We hope we get, we don't get worse news coming in the next couple days. But we lose him. So we got AVT gone on the right side. Tippmann's now gone on the right side. We got Max Mitchell and Schweitzer over there. Schweitzer was a turnstile today. I said it in the stream. Whenever your offensive lineman is sitting on his ass in the middle of the play, 100% of the time bad. Never good. Never, not one time has that been good. When your offensive lineman is sitting down. It happened multiple times today. One, even he got rolled and decided to pull the guy down with him. One Fletcher Cox. He gets a 10-yard holding penalty, killing the drive. So, you got to give Zach that too. In addition to that, he had at least 3 drops, potentially more. Key moments, key times, man. Third downs, guys are dropping the ball. So, it's kind of a skewed thing. Now, our boy Zach Wilson, his stats look like this. Nothing to write home about. He had 19 for 33, 186 yards. He had a 58% completion percentage, 0 touchdowns, but 0 interceptions, 0 fumbles. So he didn't turn the ball over today, which is key. Didn't get us in the end zone, didn't throw any touchdowns. But he didn't make the big mistake that lost us the game. Now, he took some sacks, but again, are they his fault? You can argue it. Maybe he's got to be better at throwing that ball away. Naked bootleg, when you roll out and you turn around and the guy's already in your face, that's tough. It's tough. It's going to be tough for anybody. So Zach Wilson had a tough day, had an interesting day, had some really key plays, though. He didn't look terrible. And again, our bar is low, right? But we want this guy not to lose the game, and we want him to be able to hit some big plays. Had a beautiful deep ball to Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson, a big factor today. Got injured twice in the game. Don't know really where his health is right now. Thankfully, we're going into the bye. Didn't look like it was anything serious. But man, oh man, is it scary, the idea of losing him. Garrett Wilson's a tough son of a bitch, though. You got to give it to him. He's a tough son of a gun. You know that. And he's going to come back in if he can. So we saw that once. He went down a couple plays after Tippmann. It looked like the earth was crumbling. But so Zach, kind of a middling game. I mean, that's where he was. We want him not to lose it, but we really need to be able to get that damn ball in the end zone. We need to be able to score touchdowns. Because let me just tell you something. If we did, let's say half of our red zone were touchdowns, not even all of them. This game's out of control. This game's out of control. We just, week to week, can't seem to get in the end zone. Now, talking about the play when we did, off of the 4th turnover from our defense, Tony, let me break it down for you. At that point in the game, it looked like it was a wrap. It was 3rd and 9. If we didn't stop them, the game was over. But our offense wasn't able to do anything, so it felt grim. Even if we do get the ball back with a minute and a half or a minute and 50 left, whatever it was, it looked grim. And it looked like we weren't going to be able to stop them in the whole thing. And Tony Adams comes up with an just amazingly key, clutch interception. Runs it all the way back to, what was it, the 5-yard line or so? Something like that. With a minute and 50 left on the clock. You know damn well that the Eagles were going to let you score the touchdown. Why? Because they want the ball back. Because when we score a touchdown, even with the 2-point conversion, a touchdown and extra point wins the game. So they want the ball back with full faith in their offense. Even though the Jets defense held them to 0 points in the second half. 0 points in the second half, everybody. 0. Not no touchdowns this time. 0. The vaunted Eagles offense, which, by the way, was facing the 4th and 5th cornerbacks on our roster, Bryce Hall and Brandon Eccles. And Craig James. We had Willie Mays Hayes running around there. He's the one who gave up the big A.J. Brown non-catch that they gave him. That being what it is, no points. No points. Not a point. And they almost had a safety on top of everything else. So this, what we were able to do there was incredible. I mean, the burst of life that Tony Adams gave this team. Our young undrafted free agent safety. What he gave to it's amazing. But we had to slow it all down, settle the emotions down, and go, you know what? We need to play for the field goal right now. We need to use that clock. That's what we need to do. We need to, if you run the ball and they open they part the sea, so to speak. They part the sea for you. You run to the 2-yard line and you sit down. That's what you do. And you let the clock tick. The clock was more valuable than the touchdown at that point. Hey, you get it down to 20 seconds and you punch it in. Fantastic. Fantastic. But they wanted to, you saw it. They barely tried to tackle Bryce Hall. He went right in the end zone. We didn't even use 10 seconds. So Philly got the ball with 140 plus. I think it was 144. So we used like 6 seconds, which is not good. And it gave them the opportunity. And we had to stop. We had to put it on our defense to stop them again, which you didn't have to do. And that's kind of one of the issues I have. Again, we're not going to focus too much on it, but it's one of the areas that we really need Robert Saleh to get better in. He gets caught in the excitement, the emotion. He's running up and down. He's high-fiving. He's hugging. He's doing all the stuff and the dances and all the things. And then it's like they score a touchdown. It's like, yeah, all right. But now they got a minute 40 and they can drive down. They can beat us. And they have the horses to do it. The fact that Tony Adams, Craig James, Bryce Hall, Willie Mays Hayes, all these guys were able to hold them for this long, great. But you should not count your chickens before they're hatched, so to speak. You should not just assume that they're going to be able to do it again. They were playing great, playing lights out. Our defense was sick today. And even when they did bend, in my opinion, they only gave up 1 touchdown today. That touchdown, the Jalen Hurts run into the end zone. I've never seen anything like it. Number one, it looked to me like his knees were down. That's one before the ball got in. But even if they weren't, his player was pulling the ball out of his hand as he was crossing the goal line. And then it's just craziness. What happens with all that? You're allowed to do that? I just never seen anything like it. All the refs powwow. The announcers look at it. Everybody says it's not a touchdown. They call it not a touchdown. So it's 0 points. That's 4th down. The Jets get the ball. That's 0 points. It's not a field goal. It's not, you get another play. That was it. It was a wrap. The NFL calls in and they review it even though it's a non-scoring play. And they overturn it from the skybox. From Oz. They call in and say, oh, no, that was a touchdown. You need to make that a touchdown. What is that? What is that? So, fine. They get it. They get the gift. Even with that, the Jets defense would bend. They give up plays. You're not going to stop that team 100%. The fact that they gave up only 14 in the first half and 0 in the second half is unbelievable. The physicality. The amazing, just running after Jalen Hurts. They couldn't seem to bring him down. They were all over him today. They're clawing, they're pulling his shirt. Michael Carter's on him. Bryce Huff's on him. It was hard to get him. The talented guy. How about the one Michael Carter's pulling on his arm and he still threw a dart? You got to give it to this defense. They were flying all over the place. Now, we were only able to sack him 2 times today, compared to Zach Wilson's 5 sacks today. Zach was brought to the ground 5 times behind the line of scrimmage today. Jalen Hurts, twice, but they were big-time stops. But we were chasing him all over the place. The pressures were unbelievable. And it doesn't always look like a sack. And sometimes the pressure, when it doesn't get home, can do something else that's even better. And that is the 3 interceptions that they forced Jalen Hurts to throw today. 3 of our 4 turnovers were interceptions from Jalen Hurts. Now, there's an interesting stat out there about when he's pressured more than 40 times, his record is like 3-7. Something like that. So, number one, doesn't happen all that much. But when it is, the guy doesn't win. So the Jets had the game plan to beat Jalen Hurts, even without their star cornerbacks. They had the game plan. They executed it, and you got to give that to Robert Saleh, Jeff Olbrick, Tony Oden, and the bunch. You got to give it to those guys. Now, when you talk about these quarterbacks that we're playing, look at this. We played Dak Prescott. We played Josh Allen. Played Russell Wilson. Different version of, but still Russell Wilson. Played Patrick Mahomes. You played Jalen Hurts. These are the top guys in the NFL, some of them. And what did Robert Saleh say? Did you hear what Robert Saleh said? He opened his press conference with this little nugget.
You know, through these first 6 weeks, we've played a gauntlet of quarterbacks. And I know we haven't gotten all wins, but we've embarrassed all of them.
Embarrassed them all. That's what we're doing. We're out there embarrassing the league's best quarterbacks. I forgot to add Mac Jones, who's a little pecker puller. That guy, the pecker puller. That's what we're going to call him from now on. Mac Jones. But, look, take Josh Allen, for example. He threw 3 interceptions against the New York Jets. You know how many interceptions he's thrown the rest of the season so far? 2. 2 in the 5 games post. Right now he's playing the Giants as I'm recording this, so he doesn't have any yet. But who knows? But let's say the 4 games following the Jets. He has 2 interceptions in 4 games. He had 3 interceptions against us. Right? Today, you know how many interceptions Jalen Hurts has coming into this game? 3 total in the 5 games prior to this one. 3 interceptions, 5 games total. He had 3 interceptions against the Jets. This is what we're doing. We're rattling quarterbacks. We're chasing them all over the place. In some instances, we're sacking them. In some instances, we're pressuring them into picks. The defense knows what it's doing. The defense saved us today. I want to point out and give special accolades for his first career interceptions for one defensive tackle. Quinnen Williams came up with an amazingly headsy play. Jermaine Johnson pops the ball out, and Quinnen Williams is always he's playing to the whistle, man. He turns around, he chases the ball. Ball's in the air. Let me go that way. Ball pops up right into his hands. I love seeing Quinnen Williams with the ball in his hands. That is some fun stuff. We saw it last year against Miami when he stiff-armed Tyreek Hill to the moon. Or I should say, to the center of the earth. Just right to the ground. Well, we saw it today, too. He's just lumbering. It's hard to... He wants to keep going, man. I got the ball, baby. And that was exciting to see. So we saw a fumble and 3 interceptions. Robert Saleh nails it. And he, very confidently and rightfully says, let's be clear here. We're playing at a disadvantage every friggin' week. We lost our starting quarterback. We got injuries all over the place. Our offensive line, we got starters out all over the place. And what we are making a living doing is embarrassing some of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. You want to take a guess at which game Patrick Mahomes threw the most interceptions? Take a guess. Why would I be talking about it if it wasn't leaning our way? Yeah. He doesn't have more than 1 interception in any game this year, but against the Jets, he threw 2. Something about that, everybody. There's something about it. And meanwhile, while our quarterback isn't lighting up the league, for the most part, he's keeping the ball security thing going. He had a pick against the Broncos. He had 3 against the Cowboys. And he had 1 against the Bills. Zach's got 4 picks this year. But, outside of that, and that was all in the fourth quarter against the Cowboys when he was trying to make things happen. That, you know what I mean? He was playing hero ball. It is what it is. That is what it is. He played a good game in Dallas up till that point. So it's like outside of that, we're talking about a guy who's done a very good job with ball security, keeping the ball from the other team's hands, right? Stop throwing it to them. So you're able to do that. So meanwhile, Zach Wilson, while the defense is plucking the ball and giving him every damn opportunity he can, he's not able to get in the end zone, but he is able to keep the momentum swinging interception piece out of his game up to this point. I'm knocking on wood, man. I'm afraid. I'm afraid to talk like that. I really am. Who's another hero of the game? Can I just give some accolades right now to somebody who's taken a lot of heat? And I love the way Robert Saleh talked about him in his post-game press conference after the Eagles game. Bryce Hall, man. Bryce Hall has done an amazing job with very low expectations. Many Jets fans assumed or wanted him to be cut. Thought he was a scrub. But I'll tell you, man, I say it time and time again. If any team needs to keep their quality depth, it is the Jets. We have injuries like nobody else. Our top three cornerbacks out at the same time? Who deals with that? Us. You don't trade Bryce Hall. You don't cut Bryce Hall. You keep him. He's on his rookie contract. You keep him. You want to get rid of these guys. I don't want to get rid of these guys. And you see why today. Imagine if it was Craig James and Hayes out there. Imagine. Because Hayes had himself a rough little day today. So listen to Robert Saleh, how he talks about Bryce Hall. Bryce Hall, don't forget, was the hero of the Denver game. Scooped up the fumble from the Quincy Wilson sack of Russell Wilson at the end of the game when they had that last shot to try and score and win the game. Quincy Wilson chases him down, knocks the ball out. It's about to go out of bounds. Bryce Hall, streaking up the sideline, picks it up and runs into the end zone. This week has an interception and some really nice defensive plays, good tackles, all kinds of good stuff. Listen to Robert Saleh talk about Bryce Hall.
I said in the press conference earlier in the week, that kid, when you go from starter and then you watch the organization draft someone and then pay someone and you get relegated to backup duty, and he kind of remakes himself on the special teams and always preparing himself in the way he needs to. Again, Tony Oden, I thought, did a great job with that entire group, just getting them all ready, and with all the different personnel groupings, we were trying to mix and match and moving our corners around so they couldn't get a beat on it. And I thought, with a guy like Bryce, you can't do it without a guy like him and his ability to communicate. He's so smart on the football field and really managing the back end and making sure we were aligned the way we needed to be every play. And he's awesome. He's such a good dude.
I mean, it's amazing. I couldn't have said it better, right? How could I? I'm not the coach. But it's great to hear him spoken of like that. This is somebody who was our starter, was bumped down. We signed DJ Reed, give him money. Then we go ahead and use our first overall draft pick, our fourth overall, on Sauce Gardner. Then we use a fifth on Brandon Echols, or a sixth on Brandon Echols, and then he kind of beats him out in the lineup, and he just reinvents himself, goes to special teams, just team player. Bryce Hall has always been known as that. When he was at UVA down the street here, he was known as that. He's an ultimate team guy, ultimate team player. And he does a damn good job. And when it's time for somebody to start, that's the level of the caliber of player that you hope can come off your bench. That's amazing. And he's doing it, man. I don't know how long Sauce or Reed will be out, but it's nice to know Bryce Hall is there because he can keep up. He can play. He's a starter in the NFL. He's a starter caliber. Now, if the Jets get a call, you've heard rumors that they are receiving calls for Bryce Hall. Do you entertain them with the idea that he's going to leave at the end of the season? I don't know. That would all depend on the offer. I'm not sending Bryce Hall away for a fourth or fifth round pick. I'm not. There's no way. It's not worth it to me. Plus, if he's going to leave next year and get starter money somewhere, maybe you get that fourth anyway. Maybe you get that fifth, fourth, even if he gets big money, if he keeps playing. Maybe you end up getting a third. I mean, starting cornerbacks are not easy to come by. They're valuable out there, so you never know. But it's amazing. So, guys, look at all this. This is a team. You look at this first half of the season, not even half, but this first portion pre-bye. What an emotional roller coaster for us, huh? What an emotional roller coaster we live on as Jets fans. They come out of this 3-3, beating the Bills, the Broncos, and the Eagles. Unbelievable. Now, it would have been real nice if we would have beat those damn Patriots. And let me tell you, they had to steal the damn game from the Chiefs because we beat them too. Imagine that. This team could legitimately be at 5-1, or even more realistically, 4-2. The Dallas game, we got our asses handed to us. There's no sugar for that one. Sure, there's a world if Sauce would have caught the pick six and the whole, who knows, right? But realistically, they manhandled us. But every other game, there was something. There was something there. So imagine that. We're at 3-3, could very easily be at 4-2 or even 5-1. And that's who could ask for more? Really. And this team is, like I said, they're scrappy. They're fighting. We got a puncher's chance in every single game. Now look, we come out of the bye. What does it look like? We play the Giants, who are struggling. They are reeling in our house. Now it's an away game, but in our house, so we don't have to travel. So that's helpful. Then the following week, we're back on Monday night. That's our meetup game. If you want to go and hang with us at a game, what better game than Monday night against the Chargers? Realistically, you could be seeing the Jets go into the bye, beating the Eagles, coming out, beating the Giants, being 4-3, heading into that game against the Chargers on Monday night. Hang out with us. O'Leary, Ryan, myself, Jets Chaos, Finnegan. So many people are flying in from around the country. We have a handful of tickets left. Single digits. If you want to come, we're hanging out at the Tailgate Joe, legendary tailgate. One of the originals, man. Tailgate Joe's been, I went to Tailgate Joe's, it was much smaller back then, in 2009 or 10. The last time I hung out with them. They've grown exponentially since then. So you got to come and hang out with us. If you're teetering, now's the time to do it. But realistically, let's take a look. So we come out, we play the Giants. As I'm saying this, the Giants just got a roughing the passer penalty on Josh Allen. They're dealing with the same crap we are. The roughing the passer penalties are complete horseshit. Which, by the way, the Allen Lazard thing, I understand that it's a rule. I get it. This blindside block crap, but I don't like the rule, and I think it's the softest thing I've ever seen. You're a linebacker or a safety, and you're licking your chops, chasing somebody down, and you're going to get them, and somebody blocks you just because you didn't turn your head and see him. It's one thing to get hit in the back. But if he's up here, dude, you got to be aware that's on you, kid. I hate that they took that out of the NFL. It's one of the best things going. When I played football, oh my God, you get that opportunity once every 5 games at best to just rock somebody like that. Allen Lazard hits, that was a big play. The Garrett Wilson play, number one, it was a free play. So Zach kind of took a shot there, hits Garrett Wilson, he jukes somebody, Allen Lazard crushes Blankenship, and and it's all for nothing. No longer do they offset, because one's a personal foul, which is, I can get with that to some degree. I can. Like a little 5-yard offsides, like an illegal shift removes a personal foul. I get it. But I just don't agree. Again, I know it's a rule. We even saw it in Hard Knocks with Cobb. We know Allen Lazard's got to know better. I understand, but I hate it. And I hate that ruined that drive. And then on the next, Allen Lazard then has a drop. Geesh, Allen Lazard. What a bad few minutes for you, buddy. So I just wanted to say that out loud with everybody. But so we go in the Chargers. So we got the Giants. We got the Chargers. We win the Eagles and the Giants in a row. Now we got momentum going into that Monday night game. Our last 2 primetime showings have been electric. Another one at home. And then we got the Raiders before the Bills. There's a realistic way that the Jets get to 6-3 heading into their rematch with the Bills up in Buffalo. There's a path. Now, any game, you don't want to overlook anything. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying this is a little bit more of what we're hoping. These are the teams that we want to be able to capitalize on. These are the teams that we want to be able to go in there. We want to play our game and soundly beat. That's what you want to do. Heading into Buffalo, then after that, we got the Dolphins, a rough stretch there. The AFC East is not playing. The Falcons after that, they're not messing around. So it gets a little rougher. The Texans, they're playing good football. CJ Stroud's looking all right. Then back to the Dolphins. We got the Commanders, then the Brownies, and then the Pats. So we got to take advantage of this next stretch. We got to get to 6-3 heading into Buffalo. Get some momentum. Get some heat, some wind, some lift under our wings heading into Buffalo to go up there and squarely punch them in the face in front of the Bills Mafia faithful. That's what we need to do. You cannot be reeling, must winning for your season at that point. We got it. Guys, I hope that you are enjoying this one. I hope it's as good for you as it is for me. With that all said, I hope you have a fantastic week. Enjoy our rest, our bye week. What's the best thing to do on the bye week? We were talking about it in the Beanbagger post-game chat. Best thing to do on the bye week, put on a little red zone, pass out. That's the best thing. Put on the game, go to sleep. That's what I'm going to be doing. I can't wait to do it. It's going to be a great Sunday. Have a great week, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on your way out. I'll see you next time. And as always, go Jets.